I wasn't really opposed. I highly doubt that this man was in shock. He was probably surprised that an older woman was interested in him. Shocked? No, he was like, shit, can we do it again? It was like, no, he was like, all in, headlong, right? We headlong. We going deep.
Hello guys, welcome to the channel, welcome to the video. Today, I'll be responding to Infamous, with two S's, NYC's video regarding the allegations from Puppeh to Cinnpie. Now, if you guys don't know, Cinnpie and Puppeh, they're these pro Smash players, and at the time, 4 years ago, Puppeh was just 14, and Cinnpie was 24. And Puppeh now came out with allegations, his story of how Cinnpie groomed him, had a relationship, and simply took advantage of Puppeh. And so today I'll be responding to Infamous's with two S's NYC's video on it. To anyone watching this video, please don't go over and send hate comments, dislike the button. Just ask him a question and just try to get more out of him, okay? That's his opinion, simply an opinion. So here we go. I'm going to respond to his video.
We have Mr. Puppet calling out Cinnpie. It says, throughout the entire summer of 2016, I had a sexual relationship with Cinnpie. Cinnamon, as she was known as during that time, says she was 24 and I was only 14. My experience: I was manipulated, used, and sexualized. My entire life, I loved competing in Smash, and when I was 14, that was pretty much all I did. I could only travel to big tournaments during the summer since I was only 14. I couldn't drive or anything. I would end up carpooling up to these tournaments. My friends and I would do it on a weekly basis and would travel up to the further away weeklies on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. That's a lot.
Is it a lot? 4 days a week? Going to the Zandu venue? 4 days out of your week for a few hours? That doesn't seem a lot.
So Cinnamon and I were really good friends with each other over the time, from traveling to locals together, so much we would end up liking each other a lot. So sometime before the summer of 2016, Cinnamon initiated sexual conversations on Snapchat with me, and I would respond, but I never truly knew if anything could come of it, right? So we have someone initiating sexual conversations and it being received willingly.
The way you word it, someone is initiating sexual contact and it's being received willingly. Someone. This someone is a 24-year-old contacting a 14-year-old for sexual contact. A 14-year-old kid. You know how many kids around his age are naive and are not able to recognize a bad sign?
So Cinnamon and I would DM on Facebook and Snapchat, since her accounts are both not deleted currently and have been for a while, on a daily basis. The first sexual thing that happened between the two of us happened one night after we got back from one of the tournaments we traveled up to. Right? After the tourney, we went back to the place where we were staying at, and once we got there, we started playing Smash and then a Mario Party. After, it says, people started drinking once we got back, which happened regularly. Right? Regularly. Regular drinking among young males, young females, probably some underage drinking. But of course, he is a sweet little angel. He says, but I would never drink myself. No way. I'm a good boy. I'm a good boy, mommy. I would never do that. So something crazy ended up happening in the game we were playing. And since I was a hyper kid, I ran into the hallways towards the bathroom, away from the main room, and we were all playing in like a joke pop-off. It's a Cinnamon who was pretty drunk. Right? Cinnamon, who was pretty drunk at the time, then ran after me and tackled me to the ground and started to make out with me while laying on top of me. So my question is always the same, right? You're a young 14-year-old man or young 14-year-old boy, however you want to look at it. Where are your parents, right? I mean, why would your parents let you go away for the entire summer, every weekend, and also on Tuesdays, and also on Wednesdays, and also on Thursdays, to these things that were going on, right? Underage drinking, promiscuous sexual activity.
Everyone's guilty of slightly lying to even full out lying to their parents on where they are going due to the potential chance of their parents not letting their kid go to a party, an event, something. His parents probably did not know what was going on. I mean, would you yourself tell, hey, mom, dad, I'm gonna go to the after party where there's drinking and people were doing joke pop-offs and promiscuous activities. No kid would reveal that. All he probably mentioned is, hey, mom, dad, I'm gonna go where you know where I'm going to go. The tournament. It's gonna probably take a little bit, but that's okay. It's the tournament. All we do is play around, we smash, and we just we just have a good time. That's it. I'll see you around 9 p.m.
Promiscuous sexual activity.
And what is a promiscuous sexual activity? The only known promiscuous sexual activity stated at these parties was him being sexually harassed. Like, what is a promiscuous sexual activity? Is it a couple trading saliva, people raw dogging it, caressing each other? I'm not saying there's no sexual activity going on, especially at a party with people drinking. But the Smash community, there's a huge disparity between the male and the female player population. I've been to a party, and I've personally been to a Smash after party. There's hardly anything sexual going on except two dudes sharing one controller.
People often tend to find themselves in really bad situations, and lo and behold, bad shit happens.
What dictates a bad environment exactly? I do agree with you. I do agree that if I'm voluntarily walking down a shady street after midnight in an area that has a reputation of crimes happening, and I'm in the wrong skin color, and I happen to come across people that have intent to cause trouble, then okay, whatever happens to me is on me, 100%. But I'm going to a Smash party, an event that I have past experiences of going. People that I played with or against. People drink, people play, and people then go home. I'm not expecting to get raped or mugged.
He says he ran after, tackled me to the ground, and started to make out with me while laying on top of me. He says that incident probably happened for about 15 to 20 seconds, and then after we just got back, we kept playing. I was pretty much just in shock the entire time it was happening. I wasn't really opposed. I highly doubt that this man was in shock. He was probably surprised that an older woman was interested in him. Shock? No, he was like, shit, can we do it again? Can we do it again? So I really wasn't opposed to it though, right? So he was a young man. He knew what was going on, and he was in no way, shape, or form opposed to it. And this is often what happens where either older men get involved with younger women, younger men get involved with older women. You find an older guy with a younger girl. There's no opposition, right? You get like a young guy who's like 16. He's involved with an 18-year-old girl. They've been boyfriend and girlfriend since they were 15 and 17, and now he's 18, and then now you're a rapist, right?
Infamous, I understand your point about how you can be 2 years older than your 16-year-old partner and be classified as a rapist. But Cinnpie was 24 years old and Puppeh was 14. That is a whole decade difference. Count with me, guys, count with me. Not just one, not just two, but a whole 10 years. Look, not much of a difference between a 15-year-old and a 17-year-old. But 14 and 24? Guys, please reevaluate if you believe there's no difference between dating a 14-year-old kid and a 24-year-old adult.
Well, this young man couldn't drive, right? So he went up with a bunch of his other buddies. No doubt they stayed in some sort of a hotel or something. So when you're around groups of people like that, no doubt a lot of people would know about this, right? The moment your friends start to notice something, well, what do they do? All the more they pay more attention. So if this actually was going on, this entire group would probably be aware of what was going on, as he later talks about that they spent every night together, that they were out in the same bed. And you're telling me that no one saw this? Of the entire group that was there? No one bothered to say anything?
You know how many of these guys lack the ability to be aware of inappropriate intimacy?
Took that for free, you know? Yep. I think Thanos personally should go Jigglypuff. I'm gonna say it out loud so he can hear me. Maybe here go Jigglypuff. I don't know. I'm just saying. I'd love to see some Jigglypuff.
Make it a Pokemon battle.
And he's not doing it. All right, man. I tried, guys.
He's gonna stick with the Mii Brawler. The last nail in the coffin that you needed.
Great way to start. Well, I'm off.
All right, it was a pleasure, man.
Hope I get to commentate again. I expect to get out soon.
Wow, with that. Come on, man.
Nah, I'm just playing.
Yeah, I was about to say.
I'm just playing.
Make that young losers run, man. Getting the first game, not bad, not bad. Yeah, he's looking way more comfortable in this set than he was before. Good. Like I said, man, like I feel like, all right, he lost in winners, but, for him, a lot of times that can be a good thing. Because he'll assess what went wrong in that first set. You know what I mean? He'll make the necessary corrections to get his head where it needs to be. And then, we kind of saw it in that first game. Not getting flustered at any moment, just controlling the pace, and it paid off big time. Yep. Big key to success, but now he has to do it on Jeff's pick. And I feel like he won't pick a stage like as big as Battlefield. Lucas, I feel like, does have slightly better offensive tools, so he might want to box him in a little bit more, just to make him feel, like, uncomfortable, like, before he gets that lead, And, yeah, Smashville's...
Wow, dozens upon dozens of people witness a full-grown woman acting inappropriate with a 14-year-old that looks 10. Yeah, people saw them together in full sight, and guess what? They don't care. You know why? Because they are there to either compete or to watch others compete. And look, predators make sure their prey keep their mouth shut through whatever means necessary, whether by gifts, making threats, or gaslighting. And you know what? They probably did ask. And the response from these guys that lack the ability to be aware of inappropriate intimacy from a woman to a boy, you know what they would say? Nice, man. Nice.
Right? So that on top of the sexual things that we would do made me start to develop strong feelings towards them. Of course, if it's the first woman that you're with, a lot of these young men end up catching feelings. He says that was one of the many times I had a sexual experience with her, right? So this wasn't a one-time thing where I screwed up. This was a bad idea. You're older than me. We shouldn't be doing this. It was like, no, he was like all in, headlong, right? We headlong. We going deep.
Well, Infamous, you said it yourself. Us guys catch major feelings, especially on our first girlfriend. The prefrontal cortex, that part of your brain that handles all of your rational thinking, isn't fully developed. Doesn't even fully develop at age 20. So, on top of Puppeh catching major feelings for a woman, he lacks the ability to recognize what is wrong, what is right in a relationship. Parents these days teach you what is sex. Don't have sex, and if you were suddenly away for 4 months and she tells you she's 2 months pregnant, that's not a miracle baby. No parent has taught any kid what is a healthy relationship, how to have a healthy relationship, and how to spot the unhealthy signs of a toxic relationship. Of course, he wasn't going to go back out with the lack of awareness he had. He was, like you said, going in deep, going in long.
Right. So this wasn't a one-time thing where I screwed up. This was a bad idea. You're older than me. We shouldn't be doing this. It was like, no, he was like all in, headlong, right? We headlong. We going deep.
And why are you going after a kid that's being preyed on when you can point out that a 24-year-old is going after a 10-year-old looking teenager? The older individual should be the one to be aware of what's going on to express that it's a bad idea. Oh wait, they are aware it's a bad idea and it's wrong, but they continue the relationship because they control the scene.
It says we would usually sleep together most nights after the first incident, right? So no one saw this. No one saw Cinnpie, who would have been probably with the girls and the guys would have been with the guys. None of the females, none of the males saw this or didn't say anything at all and just allowed it.
Bingo, Infamous, you answered your own question.
Right. And so it says 3 or 4 times, this is our sexual relationship escalated as far as oral sex, but never as far as sexual intercourse. It says our pseudo relationship lasted pretty much the entire summer, and she played with my head so often during that time. It is still really fucked with me to this day, because I truly believe most of my mental issues stem from that summer and how she treated me. I'm not gonna get into mental issues. It says she would tell me things like, "We can get together when you're at 18." She would make me periodically delete our Facebook messages and would constantly remind me that I couldn't tell anyone. Even though that was obvious to me. Right? It was obvious to me that he couldn't tell anybody. He could have. If he thought that what he was doing was wrong, he could have said to his parents.
An abusive, toxic partner are known to be controlling. A groomer, no less. Cinnpie doesn't want to go to prison. She doesn't want to get her career tarnished. A predator wants to keep their prey as long as it keeps their interests intact. Some victims don't speak out because all of the abuse they endured from their abusers. They are scared. They are scared on what's going to happen to them, so they continue to partake in the relationship as they see it'll keep them safe from danger. And on top of being scared, there's multiple reasons why victims do not speak out. But we'll get to that. He talks about that later on.
Right? Because I'm sure his parents would not have approved of him doing this. That's not why they sent him there. They sent him to these tournaments because he wanted to play the game. He wanted to get better. This was his thing. And so they said, okay, we're going to send you there. But obviously,
I'm sure they told him, don't do dumb shit, right? And instead, he did dumb shit. And he got himself in a bad situation.
What? Puppeh, all he wanted to do was play Smash with other people. He went to the after party. He didn't drink. Maybe he did, maybe he didn't. He claims he didn't. But all Puppeh did was he ran down a hallway, probably in a Naruto form, and got tackled by a 24-year-old Cinnpie, to which Cinnpie, being bigger than Puppeh, made out with a 14-year-old Puppeh. And you're telling me that since he did dumb shit, that's his fault?
He said in the very beginning that this initiated with her being drunk, right? He saw that there was a lot of drinking going on, and he could have remembered, my parents told me to watch out for these things. And instead he chose to ignore them. And then I'm sure his parents told him to be careful with young women, right? Don't get yourself into trouble. Don't get somebody pregnant. Young men typically don't know how to make good choices.
Okay, guys, stay away from intoxicated people, young people, and no running down the hallways, and I promise you, you won't be sexually harassed.
A situation that he says he approved of, right? In his own words, he says that he approved of what was going on, despite being raised to the contrary.
He approved what's going on despite what was taught. We mentioned before that he had hard feelings for this woman, and again, he fails to recognize what is appropriate in a relationship. He doesn't know about grooming. He lacks the awareness of spotting a groomer.
Does not being able to tell anyone about my experience ate away at me constantly, right? So if his conscience bothered him, well, then you make the conscientious choice to come forward, right? Your parents love and care about you. They're the ones who are providing for you. They're the ones who are teaching you and training you and preparing you for adulthood. Why would you trust this person more than the people that actually love and care about you?
It's not easy coming out just like that. Growing up, the only relationship you ever had was a toxic relationship, yet unfortunately to this young boy, it felt real. And not only real, but genuine. He doesn't know what to do, how to help himself feel better. All he knows is that he's been abused with no outlet to turn to. Think of the stigma he might face, that some people will just marginalize his trauma, marginalize him, and perhaps make videos defending his abuser.
This is my reasoning for writing this, is so that I can hopefully be at peace with my experience finally. And whenever I read one of these things, whenever you see a person talk about these sort of experiences, I would say, great. Did you go to the police?
Less than 1/5 of child sex abuse crimes goes unreported. It goes unreported for various reasons. Reasons such as the victims blame themselves, the fear that the abuser has implemented inside them, shame, and the number one reason for male victims is not being believed. When a male victim of sexual assault comes out, they are responded with people calling them lucky, you enjoyed it, and laugh at them. There's a disturbing, overwhelming belief that when a male is subjected to being raped or sexually harassed, it is comical, not a life-changing experience. Some people try to make it the butt of a joke. And it's true, you can see in TVs, you can see in movies, you can see in medias. Don't drop the soap. Oh, I hope Bubba Tyrone goes easy on you. Those are the reasons why male victims are less likely to come out with their experience.
If someone, because this gets posted on social media, right? It gets posted on social media, and this has been happening for a long time, where it's real easy to post things on social media, create a story, and to damage someone's reputation.
That's another thing that I agree with you, Infamous. Falsely accusing someone of a crime is unacceptable. Look, everyone can lie. Everyone has the ability to lie. Why do people lie? Is to get revenge or a desire for a particular action or whatever. I just don't want someone to come out and falsely accuse of someone with zero evidence. There has to be layers of proof and just enough layers of proof to make a crime that has happened plausible that it did happen.
It would literally be like saying, Infamous came into my store and he robbed me 2 years ago, right? 2 years ago, he stole something from the store that I worked at. It was a traumatizing experience to have this individual bully me, and I thought I was gonna be assaulted, and he stole X, Y, and Z, and you posted on social media. I would ask the very same question. Great, appreciate you posting this. Have you gone to the police? It doesn't matter what the crime is, right? This is just an easier crime that's much harder to prove, right? It's just a crime that's much harder to prove. And my question will always be the same thing. If a crime is committed, then why haven't you gone to the authorities?
You're comparing being raped to some robber coming in and stealing something from a store. God forbids I get raped, or even worse, get robbed by the McHamburgalar. There are severities per crime committed, and the more heinous the crime is, the more severe the accusation gets. And for the reason why the victim won't come out, I've already mentioned it earlier.
Authorities. It's a question that it's the very first thing when someone says, when there's some sort of a crime that's been committed, the very first thing that you should ask is, great, did you call the police? Did you file a police report so that an investigation can be underway, so that the police will know that this individual perhaps is guilty of committing some sort of crime and they need to look into it.
Over 90% of perpetrators that committed sexual assault will walk free. And this story with the victim being a boy, the perpetrator being a woman, what are the chances that this female perpetrator will face any jail time? Either slim or none.
It happened in Tulsa, Oklahoma. It's happened throughout history where someone accuses someone of rape. This happened even in biblical times, right? The Dinah. For those who know and remember the Bible, Dinah was also accused someone of rape. She actually was raped, and as a result, her brothers went down to where this individual lived and killed many of the men who knew the person that raped Dinah. And this is often the reaction of most men. The reaction of most men is to want to become violent when they hear someone, especially someone that they care about, becomes sexually assaulted. The result is that you end up causing rage to inflame in the heart of an individual. And if you are doing these things under a false pretense, if you're falsely accusing someone, whether you're a man accusing a woman or whether you're a woman accusing a man, and that person goes out and kills someone, that blood comes onto your hands. And I would not recommend anybody be in the practice of doing this. If a crime has been committed, regardless of what the crime has committed, whether it's sexual assault, whether it's physical assault, whether someone is threatening you, whether someone has robbed and mugged you, to go to the police, to go to the professionals who are responsible for ensuring your safety so that these individuals can be brought to justice, not social justice.
Okay guys, that's the end of my response video to Infamous with 2S's NYC video regarding to the allegations from Puppeh to Cinnpie. To anyone still watching this video, just don't send any hate to his video. Don't send hate in his way. It's just his opinion. Try to be civil. Don't try to take away anyone's ability to create speech. Opinions are meant to be expressed, shared, and criticized on. Judge for the video yourself. I have already left a link below in the description, including all my other sources. I don't want to be talking out of my butt on some subjects. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. If you have a comment about the video, please leave them below in the comment section, and I'll discuss it with you. Hope you guys have a good day. Peace. Infamous, I understand your point about how you can be 2 years older than your 16-year-old partner and be classified as a rapist. No, I burped.